Welcome to session 6 in the digital marketing training sessions here at the Realty Firm onboarding platform. In this session, we are finally talking about leads. So leads are what we're all looking for as real estate agents, right? We're ultimately looking for those buyers and those sellers that we are going to be able to turn into our clients so that we can do business with them, right? But they first start off as leads, where you need to qualify them and then you need to get them to turn into your client. And everything that we've been talking about so far has led to this moment, right? Now that you've started to run Facebook ads and Instagram ads and Google ads with your static images, like we talked about in session number 2, and with your video assets, like we talked about in the last session, now you're trying to get people to come to your marketing hub and come to your website, and ultimately going to provide you with their contact information so that they are hopefully going to start doing business with you. So this is what we're going to cover today. So we're going to be looking at website management. We're going to be looking at lead generation. We're going to be looking at customer relationship management, and we're going to be looking at marketing automation. Now, I'm going to preface this lesson that when I'm talking about website management specifically, I'll give you some of the best practices, but I might not be able to tell you how to actually exactly do it. This is because every website is set up differently using different platforms. So in order to show you how to do it, I would need to work with each one of you one-on-one. Therefore, I'm going to give you the ideas, but might not necessarily be able to tell you how to do it the same way I've shown you how to run Facebook ads and Google ads. So this lesson might require a little bit of self-learning. And this is, again, where you can work with your web developer or your web provider on any of these kinds of ideas that I'm going to be presenting today. So, like I said, everything that we have talked about so far has led to your marketing hub. We briefly talked about your marketing hub in the very first session, I think, when it comes to what is your end goal? Where are you trying to drive people to? And I'm a big believer in always trying to drive people to a website. That's because on your website, you are able to provide them with more information. You are able to talk about yourself. You're able to add as much content as you possibly could want. And you can also add lead capturing tools, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So everything that we've talked about so far, again, your Facebook ads, your Instagram ads, your Google-based advertising, any content marketing, blogging, TikTok ads, all of that we've talked about throughout all of these digital marketing training sessions has led to this point and has hopefully led to people visiting your website. Now, when it comes to website content, the number one challenge is to always keep your website up to date. A lot of people think that websites, you just throw them up there and you don't need to, go and change them or update them, which, as a marketer, I don't necessarily want to promote that idea, but it happens, right? So in order to do that, where you want to try to change your website as little as possible, make sure that any wording that's on your website is changed to timeless statements. So for example, if you have on your website that I've been in the real estate industry for 12 years, that is going to have to be changed every single year, right? So maybe change it to I've been in the real estate industry since 2010 or something along those lines, right? I had to deal with this every year when I used to work for the London Knights. On our website, before I started doing this, it would say, this is Dale Hunter's 12th season coaching the Knights, right? Or his 10th season coaching the Knights. And every single off season, I would have to try to remember to go in and change that. So I then realized, this is ridiculous that I have to change our website every single year. So I changed it to Dale Hunter has been the head coach of the London Knights since 2002. Then people can figure out the math themselves, right? So when it comes to website content, if you don't want to be updating it, weekly or monthly or annually, then that's okay. But make sure that you change any wording to timeless statements. I've seen this over and over again, right? Not just on websites, but on like bus bench ads. I've seen bus bench ads that have been up for like 3 years that says, I have 15 years worth of real estate experience. Well, now it's more, right? Like now it's 18 years, and 18 is more impressive than 15. So make sure that you write any sort of statement like that in a timeless manner. So if you don't have a website, one that I really, really like is deborahsmalley.com. This is a realtor that's based in California, actually. But it just has some great looking assets on it. It performs really, really well, and it's nothing too complex. So when you're thinking of all the capabilities that you can have on a website, you can have, basically whatever you want. Like I can't even list all of the features you can have on a website because they're like seemingly unlimited. But I would much rather have a website that's straightforward, user-friendly, easy to use on the back end than something that is super flashy, that is tough to navigate, that you can't really necessarily find what you're ultimately looking for, right? So if you don't have a website yet, or if your website needs a little bit of work, I highly recommend checking out Deborah Smalley in luxury real estate. This is great, again, because it's not complex, it's straightforward, there's some great visuals, it's bright, it showcases everything that you would need to know about who Deborah Smalley is as a realtor. However, at the same time, there are some missing elements, like a lead capture pop-up, a live chat, and some other aspects as well. So use this as a foundation, if you will, for your website to really understand, the bare basics of what you need. Now, your website is a great opportunity for you to showcase what kind of properties you specialize in, right? If you specialize in condos, then add photos of condominiums up on your website. Or if you specialize in commercial real estate, add photos of commercial properties, right? So make sure that your website represents who you are as a person and who you are as a realtor. In looking through Deborah Smalley's website, because it's bright and straightforward and has great visuals, like I imagine her to be somebody that has like this outgoing, very personable kind of mindset and personality where, she seems like she's really excited about luxury real estate. So it makes me feel like she's, pretty classy and someone that's pretty exciting to work with. So make sure that your website represents who you are as a person and as a realtor. Now, this is a great tool that I like to use, and this is called HubSpot Website Grader. So if you go to website.grader.com, you'll be able to put in your website and your email, and it'll populate an automated report that will showcase what you're doing well on your website and what you are not doing well on your website. So it'll tell you maybe your search engine optimization needs a little bit of work, but the response time is great. Maybe it'll tell you that your images are too large, so you need to reduce the file size of your images so that it'll speed up the performance of your website. And it'll give you tips, it'll give you tricks on what you can do to improve your website. It'll also talk about some of the security on your website as well, which is really, really important. So this is a great base on understanding how your current website is performing. And you can use it at any time. It's totally free. you can quite frankly use it for any website. Like I've used it to grade like Facebook, I've used it to grade Twitter, and like even Facebook and Twitter don't have perfect grades, right? I think they have like 80%. So if you have that website, then I highly, highly recommend using Website Grader. Now, here are some website management best practices. So on every single page of your website, you should have a contact capture opportunity. So what I mean by that is having like a little blurb or maybe having a pop-up on every single page of your website that allows somebody to input their information if they're inspired by a very specific page to give you that contact information, right? So you should have that ability for someone to provide you that information without them having to go around trying to look for it, right? So make sure, if you can, to have that contact capture opportunity on every page of your website. Next is that you want to have alt text for any images. Now, alt text is basically a description of any image that's on your website. So this is used for several reasons. This is used primarily for accessibility, where if someone is visually impaired, then there's a reader, like an audio reader that reads what a website says and what images are on a website. So number one, it's really important for accessibility. But number two, what it allows you to do is that it provides you more opportunities for search engine optimization, where anywhere on your website that you might have an image, then you can start to put some descriptions into that image. And again, Google will start to pick up on those keywords and will hopefully bring you to a higher ranking on Google. So it's another opportunity for you to optimize any sort of Google ranking. So again, I would love to be able to show you how to do this, but it's going to differ for every single website provider. So make sure that you just either work with your current provider or do a little bit of self-learning on how to do that. The next is shorter text. So we've talked about this at length throughout, but shorter text is always better. I always like, whenever I'm writing anything, to at most have 2 sentences in a paragraph. I know that's not grammatically correct, but it seems to work out really well, where I'll have like one line and then I'll double space and then another line and then I'll double space and then another line and then so on and so on, rather than having like big giant chunks of text. It just makes it much easier to read if it's just sort of one quick line at a time. The next is make sure that you have a call to action on every page. So that can be at the start of every page, that can be at the end of every page, but you're inviting or trying to influence someone to do something at the end of every single page. And then next, try to have reduced file sizes. So either use SVG files or JPEG files for your websites so that it can reduce the file size whenever somebody is trying to visit your website. What that does is that it'll increase the speed of your website and it'll become more responsive. And it'll be easier to adjust when you're looking at changing it to a mobile-friendly website. Now, mobile-friendly websites, or I should say having a mobile-friendly website, is so important. I think the stats, don't quote me on this, but the stats say that 70% of people visiting the internet are doing so from their phone. Might be a little less, might be closer to 60, but either way, at least half of people that are visiting your website will be doing so on their phone. So that means that you need to have your website mobile friendly. So again, the question is, how do you do that? And again, my answer is going to be, it depends on who your website provider is. Sometimes website providers will automatically do it. Sometimes it might need a little bit of manual work. But this is a great video that will describe 5 ways to make your website mobile friendly.
Making your website mobile friendly is a must if you're looking to see success online. It's been a few years now since mobile phones knocked desktops off the top spot when it came to overall internet usage. Yet, you can still come across websites that haven't been optimized for mobile devices. For those who are a little late to the party, or for people just launching their digital presence, there are a few simple ways to get your mobile site up to standard. So sit tight as we cover 5 ways to help ensure that your website is mobile friendly. Number 1, evaluate where you're at. Before you start making changes to your site, first evaluate where you're at right now, using things like Google's mobile friendly test to check how easily a visitor can use your page on a mobile device. See how you score. The beauty of running the mobile friendly test is the fact that it will flag areas of improvement that should give you a steer on how close you are to the mark of mobile friendliness. You can also use responsive design checkers to show you what your website looks like on different devices, which can help to point out areas to improve. Number 2, make it responsive. On the topic of responsiveness, mobile devices naturally have much smaller screens than desktop, which come with their own considerations in regard to web design. In order to be eligible to receive a mobile-friendly website label from Google, make sure your site is responsive. This means that your content will resize to the screen automatically and prevents mobile users from having to scroll around or zoom excessively, causing a really bad on-site experience. Number 3, optimize for tap targets. Now, tap targets are elements on a site that users interact with, such as nav bars, menus, buttons, etc. Not actual taps, disappointingly. Make sure that they have enough space around them so that a thumb or finger or sausage wouldn't accidentally tap onto something else when a user wants to interact with it. Do the same when you're adding things like call to actions or internal links. Give them space. Don't crowd their little bubbles so they overlap and no one can actually do what they want to do. Number 4, speed can be impressive. As Google says, a slow mobile site limits your business, and nobody wants that. In fact, time for some stats. 10 years ago, Amazon found that every 100 milliseconds of latency cost them 1% in sales. 100 milliseconds. Google found that an extra half a second meant a 20% drop in traffic. And a stockbroker could lose £2.5 million in revenue per millisecond if their platform's just 5 milliseconds behind. Make sure that your site loads quickly and efficiently on mobile devices to prevent losing traffic, customers, and your cool. 53% of mobile users will leave a page that takes longer than 3 seconds to load, so keep this in mind when you're optimizing. And on that note, number 5, compress, compress, compress. Images and other visual content usually take the longest to load on web pages, but fortunately, they're also relatively easy to optimize. Review your visual content and make sure it's all required with no unnecessary stragglers, and then work to compress them, reducing their size without compromising on quality, of course. Also, think about what content shows straight away or above the fold, and focus on that in order to make a good first impression. And that's our top 5 for today. There are plenty of other things that you can do to appease the mobile gods, but remember that mobile friendliness is no longer a nice to have. It's a must if you want to see your business continue to grow and flourish in the online world. Going into your digital efforts with a mobile-first mindset is a surefire way to ensure that users have a great experience on your site, no matter what device they're using.
So a little trick that you can use if you want to see how your website performs on mobile on your desktop, if you use Google Chrome as your web browser, then if you press F12, then up at the top there'll be a bar that will let you view that website in various different mobile forms. So you can look at it from the point of view of like an iPhone 12 or a Google Pixel 5 or an iPhone 15, I think. There'll also be like an iPad view. So there's a couple of different ways that you can see what your website will actually look like on your desktop. And if you want to see how it would look like based on a mobile view on your desktop, then hit F12 on Google Chrome, and it'll allow you to access that. It's a pretty cool tip. So next, what I want to talk about is a customer relationship management software. So throughout this entire onboarding program, there's a ton of different CRMs that we're going to be talking about. But basically, there's some really, really popular ones that you can use, right? And a CRM system or software is essentially like a virtual Rolodex. This is where you can house all of your contacts and all of their important information, right? So platforms like HubSpot or Salesforce or even Microsoft Excel can be seen as a form of a CRM. Anywhere that you can input contact information and any sort of notes, maybe even if you're using Excel, you put John Smith, here's their phone number, here's their email address, and a note is that they are looking to move to a 4-bedroom house with a pool in London, right? Then that would essentially be like a CRM. It's not a very advanced one that doesn't have the same capabilities as like a HubSpot or Salesforce or any of the other ones that we've talked about so far. But it's essentially any way that you can keep track of your contacts, right? So what we're going to do over the next couple slides here is we're going to talk about some CRM systems and some integrations as well. So my recommendation, if you're looking to use a CRM that's very basic, that's easy to use, that is separate from some of the other ones that we talk about in this onboarding program, is HubSpot. Now, HubSpot is a free, easy to use CRM system that allows you to track your conversations with your customers or your clients, basically, or any leads. So anybody that you're talking with, and it allows you some automations as well. So this is a quick video that overviews what HubSpot does and how you can use it in your business.
Hey, it's Kyle from HubSpot Academy, and I'm going to show you what your workday can look like now that you have the HubSpot CRM. Let's go. The day starts and you're checking your email the way you always do, but if you've installed HubSpot Sales, some things are slightly different. When you compose an email, you get a sidebar of information about the person you're writing to, including recent conversations you've had with them and their social activities. You use this information to write emails that are relevant and fit the buyer's context. You also use templates to automatically pull information from your CRM into the body of your email. You can also track the email to know when it's been opened. But the best thing about HubSpot Sales is the Login CRM checkbox. When this box is checked, your emails will get recorded in the CRM as soon as they're sent. If you're emailing someone who isn't in your CRM yet, their record will be created automatically, so you can spend less time on data entry and more time selling. Well, hey, here's an email from one of your leads, Fran Johnson. Looks like she's going to be out of town and wants you to reach out in a couple of weeks. You send her a quick email, then you click the View in CRM button to go directly to her record. Here you can see a customized list of information about Fran and a timeline of your interactions with her, including the email you just sent. Above the timeline, you have several options, including the ability to create tasks. Tasks are simple reminders to take action at a later date. In this case, you create a task to follow up with Fran in 2 weeks. This task gets added to the timeline, and in 2 weeks you'll get an email reminding you to contact her. Now that you're done with Fran, you click on the Contacts tab to see who else you should reach out to today. Here you see a list of all your contacts, but you can also create a list of people you need to follow up with. To do this, add a filter for the last time they were contacted and set it to last week or last month. You can add as many filters as you want, so feel free to narrow the list by location or by company. Any data you have can be used as a filter. You can also add and remove columns and drag and drop them into whatever order works best for you. You can then save this combination of filters and columns as a custom view for easy access in the future. If other members on your team would benefit from the view, you can share it. Once a view is saved, you can access it at any time by selecting it from the drop-down. As you go through your list of contacts, you can quickly edit their information by clicking the Preview button near their name. If you want to see their full record, click on the name. If you ever want to manually add a new contact, click the Add Contact button and enter their email address. The CRM dedupes contacts by email, so it'll check to make sure this email address isn't already in your database. If it is in there, you'll be directed to the existing record. Otherwise, you'll be asked to enter the rest of the contact's information, and a new record will be created. This lead is a referral you got from one of your coworkers, Andre. Andre wasn't sure what the person's job title was, but he said he'd find out and get back to you. You want to let Andre know you've created this record, so you leave him a note. As you write the note, you @mention Andre by typing the @ symbol and adding Andre's name. Whenever you @mention a coworker, they receive an email with a note in it. Notice that even though you just created this record, it already has a company associated to it. Anytime a new contact gets created, whether you do it manually or HubSpot Sales does it for you, the CRM looks at the email address, checks its domain against a database of public records, and automatically creates a company record for you. All of your contacts with that domain and their email address will automatically be associated to that company record. All of this information gets stored on the company's page, which looks and behaves just like the contacts page. If you go to an individual company record, you'll see all of the interactions you've had with anyone at this company, all combined together in chronological order. The most exciting part of your day comes when one of your contacts schedules an appointment with you. Time to create a deal. Deals are used to track the progress of your sales. The easiest way to create one is to click the Create Deal button on the contact record. The CRM will automatically fill in the contact and company information, and it will give a projected close date of the end of this month. All you have to do is give the deal a name and fill in the amount it's worth, and then save it. Now go to the Deals page. Here you'll see the deal in the Appointment Scheduled column. These columns represent the different stages of your sales process and are customizable. As the sale progresses, simply drag and drop the deal into the appropriate column.
So now we get to lead generation, right? This is where all of these lessons have been leading to, is this final lead generation aspect. And what I like to do to capture leads is by having a simple website pop-up form. You might have seen this if you searched the Realty Firm website. There's a pop-up form that says something along the lines of, let us know how we can help you in real estate, right? And then there's an opportunity to put in that contact information. That's what a website pop-up form is. And the minute or even the second that someone has gone to your website from a Facebook ad or from a Google-based ad is going to be the time that they are most likely to provide you with that contact information. So you want to make sure that right away you have the ability to collect that contact info. And that is what you can use a website pop-up form for. And a website pop-up form is really only available on websites, as straightforward as that might sound. So that's why having your website being your marketing hub is so important, so that you can collect that contact information, right? Through a method like a pop-up form. So question I get is, how do I make a pop-up form? Well, you can do that using a free email mass communication platform called MailChimp. So MailChimp is a great tool that you can use to automate a lot of your emails and automate a lot of your touch points with your clients and your customers. So by using a platform like WebChimp, it allows you to design a pop-up form, add these integrations onto your website, and automatically email or contact a lot of the people that are trying to get in touch with you. So here's a great video that shows how to design and edit a pop-up form in MailChimp.
In this video, you'll learn how to design and edit a pop-up form in MailChimp and add it to your connected site. Pop-up sign-up forms help you connect with the people who visit your website. You can use the pop-up form editor to design and customize a pop-up form to fit your brand, and even add a specific offer or discount to help grow your audience and boost your sales. Once you publish, we'll automatically push the form code to your site or provide the code you need to connect to your site. To access the editor, click Audience to navigate to the Audience Overview page. If you have more than one audience, click the Current Audience dropdown and choose the one you want to work with. Then, click the Manage Audience dropdown and choose Sign-up Forms. Select Subscriber Pop-up to customize your pop-up form. In the editor, we can navigate between 3 menus to design the form: Style, Layout, and Settings. In the Style tab, you can choose the fonts for your headings and paragraphs, font colors for headings, paragraphs and labels, and font size for your form. In the Layout tab, choose from one of the 5 pop-up templates to appear to people who visit your site. Here you can select a template with the image alignment and style options for the field labels and buttons that fit your preference. If someone views your site on a mobile device, a banner will display in place of your pop-up form, and viewers can tap the banner to see the full form. If your audience has GDPR fields enabled, the Layout selector will indicate which templates support them. Click the Settings tab to control how the pop-up will appear on your site. To change the overlay opacity, adjust the slider to darken your website when the pop-up appears. This will help draw more attention to it. In the Display drop-down menu, choose when the form appears to people who visit your site. Keep in mind that the On-Exit Display option shows the form when site visitors move their cursor away from their current tab or window, and is only available when your site is viewed on a desktop. Next to Show MailChimp Badge, toggle the slider on or off to add or remove the referral badge on your form. Finally, under Position, choose whether you want the pop-up to slide out from the bottom right of the browser window or appear in the middle of the page. Now that you've customized your form style, layout, and settings, you can design the form to complement your website. If you choose a form style with an image, mouse over the image placeholder in your layout and click Set Image to add or choose an existing image from the Content Studio. You can also replace your image or change how your image fits in the content block. Then, click the header box to change the text and settings for your heading. Your form template will automatically include a field to collect email addresses for your audience. Click the email address field to display the editing menu, where you can change the label as needed. You can also add a description to your field when you toggle on the Description slider, and enter extra details as needed. If you'd like to add additional fields, click the plus icon to add each field you want to include in your form, such as a first name or phone number. Click on the Form field to once again display the editing menu, where you change the audience field or label, and also choose whether you want the field to be required or add a description. If you decide that you no longer need the additional field, click Remove at the bottom of the editing menu. To reorder a form field, click the arrow icons to move it up or down. Next, click the box with your Subscribe button to change the alignment, background color, overlay color, font color, and display text of your button. If you want to add a disclaimer note, you can do so below your Subscribe button. Nice! You're almost finished with your pop-up form. Before you preview your design, make sure to customize your success message. At the top of the form, toggle from Form to Success Message. Here you can change the format and text of your success message. Once the form is complete, click Preview, and click the desktop icon and mobile icon to see how your pop-up form will appear on different devices. When you're satisfied with the form, it's time to publish it. If you've connected an eligible e-commerce store or integration to MailChimp, click Save and Publish, and MailChimp will save your design choices and connect the pop-up form to your site. If you have multiple connected sites, click the Edit link above your form to choose which ones you want your pop-up form to appear on. If you haven't connected your site through our integrations page, click Connect Site. Here you can choose to click the link to our integrations page and follow the steps to connect your site, or you can enter your website URL and click Get Started to generate a code snippet. We recommend to copy and paste this code between the head tags on your website. However, the best place to add the code can vary from site to site, so reach out to a developer if you're not sure where to modify your site's HTML. When you're ready, return to the pop-up form builder and click Save and Publish. Nice work! Your pop-up form will display when someone visits your site. If they fill out and submit your form, we'll add them to your MailChimp audience as a subscribed contact. To make changes to the form after it's been added to a site, navigate back to the pop-up form editor and make your changes just as you did when creating the form. Once completed, click Save and Publish, and MailChimp will automatically push the changes to the code on your site and update your pop-up form. Finally, to remove a pop-up form from a connected site, navigate to the pop-up form editor and click the Edit link above your form. Toggle the slider off next to the site you want to remove the pop-up form from, and your pop-up form will be disabled. That's it! You've learned how to add and remove a pop-up sign-up form on your site. For more information on MailChimp forms, check out our guides and tutorials.
Now again, this sort of gets a little bit confusing where they're talking about some coding that might possibly be needed or some assistance from a web developer. So again, if you are implementing any of these tools, I highly recommend working with your web developer on it, just to make sure that you don't necessarily make an error in the back end that could affect your website in a different way. So make sure you work with a web developer on it. I always do. I by no means am a coder or a web developer or anything like that. But I am somebody who is more than happy to work with somebody who actually knows what they're doing when it comes to this sort of stuff. So definitely work with a website developer when there might be any type of coding involved, like was discussed in putting a pop-up form on your website. Now, if you are using HubSpot, then you can generate leads with HubSpot website pop-ups. So this is a great video on how you can actually utilize HubSpot in and of itself to create a website pop-up as well.
Pop-up forms are a great way to generate leads from your website. And today we're going to show you just how easy they are to set up inside of HubSpot.
Welcome to HubSpot Hacks, where we help you get more out of HubSpot.
Pop-up forms might be considered a little bit old-fashioned in the world of digital marketing, but they're still a really powerful way to turn your website into a lead generator for your business, as long as they're done well. Luckily, HubSpot makes it really easy for you to do them well, and you can add them to your website even if your website isn't built on HubSpot. So let's dive in. All right, so here we're on the forms page. You get here by going to Marketing, Lead Capture, and Forms. It'll take you to this page here. We've got a nice list of all the forms you've created. So we're gonna go to create a new form here. And you can see right away you've got the option to create a regular form or a pop-up form. So obviously today we're talking about pop-up forms, so we're gonna go ahead and click that option and click Next. And the first thing you're gonna see here is several different types of pop-up forms we can create. So we can create a traditional pop-up form. It'll pop up over your web page like this. There's a banner that drops down from the top, one that slides in from the left, or one that slides in from the right. So you can click any of these. Today we're just gonna do a traditional pop-up box, so we'll go ahead and click on that and hit Next. So now is when we start editing the settings on our pop-up window. So the first thing it's gonna let you do is upload a featured image. So you can either upload one from your computer or browse the images you already have in HubSpot. So we're gonna go ahead and select this nice little HubSpot Hacks logo. And you can see it actually builds this preview for you in real time. So right now our call out text is sign up for email updates. We're gonna leave that. If you wanted to enter any copy here, you could enter whatever you wanted there. And you can also change this button. So let's say we wanted to say sign up instead of subscribe now. All right, and again, it's building that preview for you in real time over here so you can see exactly what your changes will look like. And then you can also change the theme color, which will change things like the color of this button here. It'll also change the button on the form. So you can pick any of their pre-selected options here, or if you've got a hexadecimal code for a brand color, you can pick one of those. Let's say we're gonna go with red for now. So after you're done setting up all these settings on this first thing that they'll see when the pop-up comes up, you're gonna hit next, and you'll get to adjust that form. So as soon as they click on whatever button you have here, so right now we have sign up, as soon as they click on that sign up button, it's gonna take them to a page that looks like this. It'll be right inside that pop-up still. So you have the option of adding more copy here. You can see it shows up just above the form. And then you've got your form field. So if you wanna ask just email, that's already built in there for you, but let's say we also want their first name. Click on that, and that gets added as well. If I wanna change the order of this, I can do that really easily. Oh, it's gonna make me do email first. Oh, there we go, it worked for me. All right, so you got first name and then email. If you wanna change the button, you can change this. So we're gonna have this one say sign up as well. If you're GDPR compliant, you can show those options here. You can also change the language, and then you can set whatever lifecycle stage you want them to come in as. So we want them to come in as leads, so we're good to go. You can hit next now. So as soon as they hit that sign up button after filling out the form, it's gonna show them your thank you message. So you get to edit that thank you message here. By default, it's gonna give them just this link where they can close this and go back to the page that it popped up on. But if you want to add a button, you can. You can add a button, and let's say it says read more by default. So let's say we wanna leave it as read more, and we want to take them to a HubSpot page or blog post. So we're gonna select that option, and we're just gonna pick this top blog post there. So now after they're done filling out this form, they can hit read more, and it'll take them to whatever page you have selected here. You can also let them download a file right away. You can have them book a meeting through the meetings link. If you don't have that set up, we've got a nice video that shows you how to do that. Or you can take them to a non-HubSpot URL. You've got a whole bunch of different options here. After you're done there, this is where HubSpot pop-ups get super powerful. You can actually automate emails to go out right after they fill out that form. So if you want to send out any follow-up emails, you're just gonna click this create follow-up email button here, and it actually allows you to create the email right inside here. So we're gonna say thank you. So now, as soon as I save this, anytime anybody fills out that pop-up form, they'll get this email. If you want to send them a series of emails, you can actually add more emails here. It's similar to sales sequences if you use that tool, or workflows if you use that tool. So you can set a delay. Let's say we want to send them an email 2 days from now, and you can put whatever copy you wanted in here. So we'll just put test in here for now. And now they're going to get this email as soon as they fill out the form. The system will wait 2 days and then send out this email. So really powerful stuff that you can do right inside the form builder. And now you get to adjust all of your options. So again, this is why HubSpot pop-ups are so powerful, because you've got a whole bunch of different options for where they show up, how often they show up, how long it takes for them to show up. So the first option you get here is what pages you want to show the pop-up on. So by default, it's all pages, but let's say you've got a blog post with a really relevant content offer and you only want to show a pop-up for that content offer on that blog post, you could pick just that specific URL. So you would put is, and then you would just type that URL in here. But for now, we're going to leave this to all pages. If you wanted all pages, but maybe 1 or 2 pages on your website, you could also have it set to all pages and then add an exclusion rule. And then under that exclusion rule, enter the URLs where you don't want the pop-up to appear. So we're gonna leave that off for now. And then the next set of options you have is when the pop-up actually shows up for the user. So you can have it show up after the user scrolls half the way down the page. You can have it show up on exit intent. So that would be anytime somebody's cursor goes off to close the window or close the tab. Or you can have it show up after a certain number of seconds. And you can also select multiple options here if you want. It recommends the type of options for the type of pop-up you have. So for the just generic pop-up, they recommend exit intent. That's what we have set up on our website as well, and it works really good. So then you have scheduling, so you can make it so that it doesn't appear until after a certain date, but we want this to appear right after we publish it, so we're gonna have don't schedule. You can have it turn off on small screen sizes, which we recommend most of the time. Pop-ups can make the user experience kind of difficult on cell phones. So we have it turn off on small screen sizes. It only shows up on desktops or other large devices. Once somebody dismisses the pop-up, then you can have it show up at a certain length of time after they've dismissed it. So that way you're not bugging them every time they come to your website with the same pop-up. So let's say the pop-up shows up, I click the X. As it's set up right now, I'm not gonna see that pop-up again for 2 weeks, but I can change that. So I can make it 1 day, 1 month, or a few options here in between. So I'm gonna leave it 2 weeks, that looks good to me. You can have a notification email be sent internally, so it can be sent to yourself or a member of your team, or you can have it not send any notifications if you prefer. You can send opt-in emails if you have those set up, so they can opt into future emails from your company. And then you can also change the subscription type of the emails that get sent on those follow-up emails. And then the last option you have here is if you're using a different email provider than HubSpot, let's say you're using something like MailChimp, you can have that push contacts over to that email provider as well. So once you have all of those settings set up, you're able to preview your pop-up. So it looks just like this. I hit the sign up button. It's going to take me to the form. I fill out that form, hit sign up. It's going to make me actually put some stuff in here. And I'm going to get my thank you message. And if I click this read more, it's going to take me to that URL I had set up. All right, so I'm done doing this. It looks like I have one error, so let me pop back over to options. And it's because I didn't change this back. So I'm going to put this as all pages. And we should be good to go. It'll show me if I have any errors, but nope, it looks like we're good to go. So I'm going to hit next, back to that preview screen, and I'm going to hit publish. I'm not actually going to hit publish because this is why it's so easy to set up pop-ups. If you already have HubSpot integrated with your website, or if your website is built on HubSpot, then hitting this publish button is actually gonna make it live right away. So we've got a video that shows you how to integrate it with WordPress. If you haven't done that yet, you can go check that out. But if you've done that and hit publish, this pop-up will be live on your website as soon as you hit publish. So since we've got a bunch of test copy in there, I don't want this live on our website, so I'm gonna skip that step for now, but that's all there is to it. Now,
all right, so next, there might be a challenge between trying to take your clients or your leads, I should say, that you have generated from your website pop-up and moving it into your CRM platform. And this is a great video that explains how you can do that using a third-party tool. So if you are having any challenges in creating your marketing tools on your website and getting them to kind of work together and integrating together, then this is a great video that showcases how you can do it using a third-party tool called Zapier in connecting both MailChimp and HubSpot.
Are you looking to connect HubSpot and MailChimp? Well, let's dive in and show you how to connect one system to the other so you can push your data from HubSpot over to MailChimp.
Welcome to HubSpot Hacks, where we help you get more out of HubSpot.
Connecting HubSpot to MailChimp is important to make sure that your data from HubSpot gets transported over into your email marketing program. Now, the reason you might want to do this is because you might not have a high enough version of HubSpot in order for you to do email marketing, or perhaps you have an email legacy program going over here in MailChimp and you're not quite ready to migrate that over into HubSpot. So to do that, keep in mind that your data typically goes one way. It goes from HubSpot over to MailChimp, and it can be a little bit harder to pull it from MailChimp over to HubSpot. So I'm going to show you how to do that with an integration setup on the back end and then using a third-party tool. So let's dive in. So first you're going to log into your HubSpot account and go to settings. Once you're in settings, you're going to go to this integrations area and click on apps. And then you can search for the app or click connect an app, which will bring you to an area where you can find more. And in here, if this isn't available, like if MailChimp doesn't display as a recommended app, you can type in MailChimp on the search bar here. So we're going to click on MailChimp, and it's going to take us to an area for email service provider in HubSpot. And I'm going to click on email, connect email provider, select MailChimp. And here it's going to ask me to log in with my credentials. And I'll click Login. Select the list that you want to apply to your HubSpot account. And then it's going to go ahead and connect here. So the key with the HubSpot integration in MailChimp is that it's going to sync between pop-up forms and what's called collected forms, or now is called non-HubSpot forms. So that means that if you create a form in HubSpot, so let's say that you're going to have someone submit an inquiry that you want to go into your HubSpot as well as your MailChimp account, we're going to use a third-party tool in order to do that. So let's take a look first at how to sync, let's say, a pop-up form on your website to MailChimp. So we're going to click on Marketing and Forms. And I have a new form here that I can just go ahead and show you how this doesn't manifest itself. So you'll see that there are no options here in this form to sync it to MailChimp because it is a standard form. So if I want to create a pop-up form, this is the pop-up form here in HubSpot. And it pops up on your website to invite someone to take an action, most likely subscribe to your newsletter. So I'm going to have a pop-up box. And my call out here, customize all this when you are setting it up. I'm just going to show you how to sync this to MailChimp. And if I go to options, I can choose to push my contacts to MailChimp. So here you have notifications of, if someone comes to my website and they type in their email address to be part of this newsletter, I have my email address here notified, but then you can also select a list, and I put a test list in here. And I can click save, and then it will say basically the people from this this pop-up form will be pushed to MailChimp. So they will end up in HubSpot as well as MailChimp on that list. So if I name this pop-up newsletter form, and then preview, that's what it's going to look like. And we're going to click on publish, set it live. And then when it pops up on the website, again, it'll be pushed over into MailChimp. So there's this other feature in HubSpot that is called non-HubSpot forms. And that's here. They used to be called collected forms. So if I want to enter an email, this would be if I have the HubSpot code inserted on my website. We have a different video about that if you want to learn more about that. But if I have that done and someone submits a form through my website, it might be, from like a contact form that you have in your WordPress environment or a different type of website. This will collect into HubSpot as well. And then I can choose to notify myself here. And then it will actually make a form here. So it would actually look it would pop up. Since this is a test portal, I can't show you exactly what that looks like, but this would manifest itself in a form that would show that it came from your website. You would go in here and edit it the same way that I did with the pop-up forms and choose to push that contact over into MailChimp. So that's how to do it inside of HubSpot. And that's pretty much the limited functionality of HubSpot. So if you're wanting to, pull out contacts every month and be able to send them a newsletter, that's going to require a little bit of finagling and a process on your end, which is also why it's recommended to eventually migrate to the email system inside of HubSpot. However, if you do want to pull in contacts from a HubSpot form, so for example, it's not uncommon for a company to place a HubSpot form, which that would be this specific area here. And if I created a new form for, let's say, downloading, something off my website, or in this case, registering for an event. So if I'm registering for this event, I can choose to have all of these fields push over into MailChimp as well. So I might end up with a new registration in HubSpot. And then let's say that this is an event that I want to send out a notification to everybody who's registered and say, hey, 5 more days till the event, can't wait to see you, or here's the map of the event, whatever you need to do. This information that we have on this screen has to be pushed to HubSpot or pushed to MailChimp from HubSpot with a very specific third-party tool. So that tool is called Zapier. And when you set up an account, you get 5 Zaps for free. And after that, you have to pay for it. But Zapier basically takes a lot of different popular software on the market and makes them work together. So you'd need to set up a new Zap is how that works. And you have to give the software also permission to MailChimp as well as HubSpot. So I'm going to choose an app. So first of all, it's going to be from the HubSpot, probably the HubSpot CRM, might be the HubSpot. Actually, it's going to be the HubSpot marketing platform. So I'm going to take a step back here and we're going to make a Zap. I'm going to search apps, HubSpot. So you want this one here and not the HubSpot CRM. And it's going to be when a new form is submitted. Save and continue. And then they're going to ask me to connect my account. So I'm going to connect my HubSpot account. And I'm going to choose which one I want. And that's going to be my test portal. This one here. And again, ask for permissions and access. All right, so you can see that we've got this account connected. So I'm going to save and continue. And my setup options is going to ask me to which form I want. So we didn't have those forms named, so I'm just going to choose one of these here as an example. So this might be the ebook download form. I'm going to click continue. And then it'll ask you to test your Zap. So it lacks an action step, so I need to go ahead and add an action step. So I want it to go to MailChimp, and I'm going to add or update a subscriber. Click save and continue. So I need to connect an account. I'm going to collect my email account. Back to that list we just talked about. And I'm going to go to the simple strats and save and continue. So the audience is going to be that test we just talked about. The email, so this is where you're going to be matching your fields from the form in HubSpot. So subscriber email is going to be pulled over from this new form submission here, and it's going to be email. And a double opt-in is right now optional. And if this person already exists in my list, so let's say they've registered for an event and they got an ebook, if they get zapped in here, are they going to be updated? And you'd want that to be yes or no, depending on your preferences. If it is yes, it's going to overwrite the data that's in there. If it's no, it's going to create two different records. And then we have options for groups and so on and so forth here. So if I'm going to refresh other fields, so we've got first name, last name. So you want to go through and actually match all of these to records in MailChimp as well. And again, these are fields that are coming over from HubSpot. So when you set up a MailChimp list, the things that they give you by default are going to be first name, last name, email, address. You typically don't get some of the custom fields that you might ask for in HubSpot, such as, you know, maybe you want a role in the company and it's a pick list. So you might have things that you don't match here. If you do want to match them, you'll have to create those custom fields in MailChimp so that when you sync this data with HubSpot, it's going to come over. So we're going to click on continue. And then this will send a test subscriber to MailChimp. So it's going to use this test from, basically this is one of the founders of HubSpot here. And I'm going to click send test to MailChimp. All right, so a test was sent to MailChimp. So if I go into here, into my audience, and I go into test, and I click on view context, I have this test that just showed up from Zapier. So then basically I've got finish, and I'm going to name my Zap. It might be ebook form Zap to newsletter. I'm going to turn that on. And then I can go ahead and start all over again and create another Zap. So with that functionality in Zapier, if you want to set up a form on your contact page and embed that there so that you get the information from someone who inquires about your services, and you also want to end up on a specific list in MailChimp, that Zapier integration would be how you would do that.
All right, so the next communication tool that you can add to your website is a Facebook Messenger live chat. So again, this is also on the Realty Firm website, but what you can do is you can add Facebook Messenger chat plugin on your website that allows anybody that's on your website to communicate with you in real time. So this is a great video that showcases how you can do it, and it's actually relatively straightforward.
Hey, my name is Stephen Lind from 2Q Creations. How would you like to offer a live chat support on your website without spending any money? I'm going to show you how to do that in 10 minutes. All you need is an active website and a Facebook page. Okay, let's get started. Log into your Facebook and go to your Facebook page. Scroll to the settings and then click on messaging. Once you're in this messaging tab, scroll down and click on Add Messenger to your website and click on Get Started. It's going to take you to a brand new page where you can go and configure your chat plugin. Click on the Setup tab on top. There are 4 steps that you need to go through. First step is select the language that you want to use on your website. Second is add a domain name that you want the chat widget to appear. My recommendation is that for your domain name, enter the www.yourdomainname.com and a domain name without the www. Okay, and click on Save and Continue. The next step is to copy the code. Okay, this is the JavaScript code that you're supposed to copy and paste to the header section of your website. If you don't know how to do that, there's a very detailed instruction on Facebook. They will show you how to do that, or you can simply forward this code to your web developer and ask them to insert that to the header section of your website. Or you can simply click on that email instruction and have Facebook send you the full instruction on how to do it. Okay, so that's it for this section. And next thing is to configure the user experience as people enter into your web widget, your chat widget. This is what people are going to see if they click on the chat widget. Okay, you can have this welcome message turn off. So as they enter, nothing's going to show. They can start asking you a question directly through your messenger or your live chat, or you can turn this on to enhance that experience. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is welcome message. So simply just enter some welcome message that you want to greet people as they come into your messenger chat box. The next thing is frequently asked questions. These are super important. I want you to think about the top 3 questions that people are asking you all the time. Okay, by having these 3 questions, it's probably going to eliminate some of the live chat support that you need. Question might be like, where are you located? What time are you open? Or what kind of services or product you offer? Right? So think about the top 3 questions, and all you need to do is go over here, click on that icon and enter your question as well as your response in here. And you can enter up to 3 questions at the most. Okay. The last thing we want to do is customize your chat plugin. Okay, and there's few options here. The first one is the greetings. So greeting is what people see before they click on the chat, the live chat widget. Okay, so whatever you want to say, hi, how can I help you? That's pretty simple. And the next one is the guest chat. This is actually a new feature Facebook has added recently. This allows people to chat with your business without logging into Messenger while using the chat plugin on your website. Okay, so which means by enable this, when people don't need to log into their Messenger. There's a pros and cons. The pro is for the user, if they want to chat with you anonymously, they can do that. But the cons for us as a business owner is we won't be able to track that conversation. So that means as soon as they leave the website, you can no longer communicate with them. Okay, so it really depends on the type of business that you run. You can decide to enable or disable this feature. The next one is custom colors. So if you don't like the default blue color, you can turn this on and pick from the color palette and pick the one that matches your brand. Okay, and finally there's the alignment. So it's basically just setting up where you want the chat box to locate. The default is right, so it will appear on the lower right hand corner of your website. If you click on left, it's going to appear on the lower left hand corner of your website. And for the bottom spacing, I wouldn't touch that. It's basically just how far the chatbot is from the bottom of the website. So I'll leave it as it is. Once you're happy with it, just click publish and copy and paste, and just paste that code onto your website, and you will see a chat widget like this in no time.
So again, this is a great tool that allows you to communicate with someone in real time. Facebook Messenger is one of the most opened messaging tools. If you think of like email communications, you know, a really good open rate in an email communication is anywhere from like 30 to 40%. But Facebook Messenger messages typically get opened around like 90% of the time. So if people are proactively messaging you through Facebook Messenger, then there's a really high likelihood that you can start a very productive conversation with them. So you want to be able to have that opportunity for them to connect with you on your website using Facebook Messenger. This is an amazing tool because the other ways that you can add a live messaging system on your website is incredibly complicated and can be very expensive. But Facebook Messenger with your Facebook business account basically allows you to do it for free, which is an amazing feature of Facebook Messenger. Now, finally, we have marketing automation. So marketing automation, and I've kind of talked about this a little bit throughout all of these training sessions, is any type of automated communication that you can have with any of your contacts. So say it's somebody's birthday, right? And you don't want to have to try to remember every single one of your contacts' birthday. Well, you can set up a marketing automation that sends them a message on their birthday through a platform like MailChimp. Or maybe it's the anniversary that they bought their house with you as their agent, or they sold their house with you as their agent, right? Or maybe you want to send like a confirmation email once they provided you with their contact info, right? So there are a ton of different ways that you can utilize marketing information. And MailChimp is one of the best marketing automation platforms that you can use to send these automated emails to your customers. And this is a great video that showcases how you can do it using MailChimp and automating your first follow-up.
In this tutorial, I'm going to show you to send an automated email to all your new subscribers inside of your MailChimp account. This is using the free MailChimp account, not a paid account. The only thing you'll need to follow along in this video is a MailChimp account, and you can use the free account. They have a free forever account that's free for up to 2,000 subscribers, but it's very limited in what it can do. And this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add an automation to your free account, but you can only add one in the free account. So make sure it's a good one. And I think this one's pretty good. It's an email that goes out to all your new subscribers. And then after that point, you could just send them custom broadcast emails, which means an email that goes to your whole list whenever you have new things to tell them. So this is a pretty good automation to have in your free account. There are two places to automate, two main places to automate in MailChimp. The first is under automations on the left. In your free account, this is not where you want to go. I know we're creating an automation, but this automation is for customer journeys, and they're quite intense. If you look at one of these, this is what the automation looks like. You have actual steps, yes and no, add tags, remove tags, send emails, create Facebook custom groups, custom Facebook groups for ads, and this is not part of the free account. So we don't want to go there. Instead, we want to go to campaigns, and then we'll click on automations, and here we can create an automation inside of our campaigns. Technically, campaigns mean just email campaigns, sequences of emails, whereas the automations tab can automate a whole variety of things, including gathering information from outside apps like QuickBooks, which just acquired MailChimp a few months ago. So when something happens in QuickBooks, you can have that do something inside of MailChimp as well. When something happens In MailChimp, you can have custom Facebook audiences created. So the automations extend beyond MailChimp if you want them to, whereas the automations inside the campaign here, they stick mostly to just emails. And in our free account, we get one of these. I'm going to click on Create an Automation, and I'm going to choose Welcome New Subscribers. You do have other options though. You can email subscribers when they're tagged. Tags are a method for you to organize your subscribers. Maybe you have multiple opt-in forms on your website for multiple different things, or maybe you have an opt-in form for every category of blog post on your site, and you want to tag people based on the category that they opted in on, which would make sense because that might highlight their interest in that category more than other categories. So you can tag them in that way. There's a plethora of ways you can tag people. Happy birthday email, share blog post updates. That's a popular one. I'll make another video on this one. And then we can filter, here's a different one, respond to subscriber updates. Thank pop-up form for subscribers, probably a thank you pop-up. For e-commerce, there's a bunch in here. Date-based, some more in here. And API, some more in here. We're gonna stick with welcome new subscribers. Click on that. Let's give it a name. This is a name that only we will see. So I'm gonna just keep it as this, single welcome email. It's totally fine. This is the audience that we're going to choose. If you don't know how to create an audience, don't know what that is, I have a separate video on that in the card up above and the description down below if you want to check that out. Click on begin. And here we set up our email. First, the sends to. Let's edit this. And we can have this go immediately when someone signs up. An hour later, 6 hours later, a day later. I usually choose immediately, especially if you're giving them something in response to them signing up. For example, a coupon or some kind of a download or some kind of scheduling app where they can schedule a phone call with you. They usually want to get that right away after they sign up. You can also have this trigger when you import subscribe contacts. This is if you have emails somewhere outside of MailChimp, you want to import them into MailChimp, you can have this email sent out to them if you do that. And if you're finding this tutorial helpful, click the like button because that helps this video show up for more people on YouTube so we can spread the knowledge and help more people with this information. So make sure you click like if you like this video. Click on save when that's all done. On the from field, this is the name that's going to appear in the email account as the from. I like to put my name and the website because some people know my name, some don't. Some people know the brand, some don't. Hopefully most people know one of those two things if they're signing up for something from me. So I prefer to cover all my bases by having both of those in the from instead of just my name and the email address over here. And then click on save when you have that set up. The subject line is the subject line. Here's a pre-filled one. Thanks for joining us. Here's some tips on the right on great ways to improve your subject line. I'm going to add an emoji. See if I can find a rocket ship or something. Yeah, there's a rocket ship. Thanks for joining us, rocket ship. That's perfect. You can also personalize the subject line and also the preview text. So I'll show you the preview text first. The preview text is what you see beside or below the subject line, depending on what kind of device you're using to view the email. So the subject line is big and bold, and that's the clickable link. And then the preview text on some devices will show right below that or beside that. And this is something that you'd want to have be enticing, make someone want to click. The subject line would want to be designed that way as well, make someone want to open the email, give them a reason to open the email. This could just be the first line of your email, if you find that first line is very enticing and inviting, or it could be something totally custom that doesn't actually appear in the email itself. Now let's go back to personalization. Let's click on this link right here. It'll open a best practices blog post. And if we scroll down, there's add personalization, and there are merge tags for personalization. Merge tags are a fancy word for text that's replaced by other text. I'm going to scroll through here. I'm going to look for, there it is, fname. This is the first name merge tag. What will happen is when we copy this into here, paste it right there, this will be replaced by the subscriber's first name if you have their first name in your database, which requires your form to have a first name field. And often first name fields are not required. So some people will not have a first name filled in, and some people will fill in gibberish for their first name, and some people will fill in their legitimate first name, which is great if it's legitimate. And you can add all kinds of merge tags into the subject line. The first name is the most common. That's the one that makes the most sense. But any merge tag that is in this merge tag list, you could add to the subject line. Not all those make sense in your subject lines, but you could do it as long as that data is inside of your MailChimp account. You can also add merge tags to the preview text. You can add merge tags pretty much anywhere. Click on save when you have that created. So this will be thanks for joining us, Frank or Jane or Mary or Bob or whatever their first name is, or just gibberish, which is unfortunate, but that happens. And if that does happen, the person who put in the gibberish in the form, they will understand why it's gibberish, I think. Anyway, subject line, done. Now we design the email. And this is the email that will be sent out. I'm going to shrink my logo up here. There's all kinds of different email templates and things you could use. If I click on templates here, you can choose any one of these on the left. These are all pre-built ones. If you take one of these pre-built ones and you design an amazing template that you love, you can save it, then it'll be in the save templates. I'm just going to stay with this template. If there's one you like, click on apply. Actually, I'm going to change to this one right here. Apply, continue with existing content, or start with a clean template. I'm going to say continue. No, start with a clean template so you can see how I add my logo and stuff, although the logo's still there. Anyway, this logo is a specific field that you can add to your email. When you click on it, you can click on replace logo. I already have mine uploaded into my account here. You can go to my files, upload, and then you can get it from your hard drive and put it right into here and then use it inside of your emails. Click on X if you're not changing anything in there. I can shrink it because that's pretty big. Anytime you want to add a new field, this plus icon is where you do it. So if you don't have that logo field, just find this plus when you hover over these segments and choose logo right there. And the other options you can choose are layout, heading, paragraph, image, creative assistant, which is an AI that MailChimp has developed that helps you design your emails, video, spacer, divider, button. I imagine this will only be for the paid version. I haven't played with that yet. Social, product, survey, and apps. Lots of options to add in here. And then you can just change the text. Start highlighting it, deleting it, whatever you have to do. Great to have you on board. You can also personalize right here if you want. There's a merge tags drop down. Add the first name. Great to have you on board. mmerge6. This is different than fname for some reason. Must be two different places where we have first name stored in MailChimp. But I'm going to assume this is correct because it's coming direct from the merge tag field that is included in the email. Great to have you on board. Let's add an exclamation. There is one. Good. Here is the XYZ that you requested. You can have a link to a PDF right here to download, a link to scheduling software to schedule a phone call. You can have just a welcome email and saying what's going to happen next. Every week I'm going to send you awesome newsletters to help you do XYZ. Whatever it is you want to tell people, this is where you tell them. And it's automated. So that makes it so much more fun because it's automated. And all these fields that you add to MailChimp also have options on the left-hand side. So we're currently in the paragraph field. We have all these options over here for font, colors, dynamic content. We have to upgrade for that. So no dynamic content in this video, but maybe in a later video. And we also have the text options that you see here, which are fairly common options. And then logo, of course, has other options. You can have a link to your website if you want. I prefer to not have a bunch of links for logos and things in an email. I really want people to do just one or two things in an email, and usually it's the topic of the email. So this is the welcome email, and if you are sending them a PDF, the only link I really want to have in here is a link to that PDF to download it. And then maybe a link to one of my social media platforms to say, hey, sign up here for updates. We've got a photo here. We can add any photo we want. Let's select an image, see if we have one. I've got this one from a previous video. Let's insert that. Shrink it down a bit. Kind of makes sense to what I wrote here. Here's the XYZ you requested. Let's change this to here's the PDF download you requested. Add a button. Let's change the text. Download it now. Let's change the color of that button. Let's make it green. Let's make the font white. And let's make it bold. Let's make it bigger. I can't see to make it bigger. There we go. And there you have it. This is a welcome email if we are promising a download like this. I also want to add in here what to expect next. So that they're going to get this download, but I also want to email them my updates for things I'm doing, videos I publish, blog posts I publish, things that are happening in the world of whatever my topic is. So I want to add that in here as well as a paragraph. You can just click on the plus button, add paragraph, and just start typing. You can be as long as you want, although you want to keep it short. You don't want to go on forever, but you can add all the content you need. To remove any sections, just click on the section, click on the garbage can. To duplicate sections, click on the section, click on the plus, it duplicates it. To move a section, click on the 6 dots. To move it around and edit the section, click on it and click on it on the left over here. Then we have some legalese down at the bottom. There's a lot of merge tags going on, as you can see. If you want to see what all this looks like, click on preview. And here you can see how the email looks. Has all the merge tags filled in as well, as you can see down here. There is a Grow Your Business with MailChimp banner at the bottom. This cannot be removed on the free account. I'm sorry, but it's going to stay there as long as you have the free account. We can go to mobile to see how it looks on a mobile phone. And Bob's your uncle. Send a test email. Let's see how that works. I'm going to send it to me. You can include personalization if you want. In the test, I'm just going to just send test and see how it works. Looks like it was sent. Okay, let's take a look on our email account. And here's the test email. Looks like spam. It's not ideal, but then again, it is kind of random stuff in here, so I'm not surprised. There's also no links. Yeah, that just opens the picture larger. Download now is not a workable button, so I can see why it's spam, or why it thinks it might be spam. Anyhow, there's our test email. That's how it looks. Now, if we come back to here, we are going to exit preview mode. Don't click back because that will take you back out of the campaign editor. Click on exit preview mode. Now with our email done, click on continue. And here is also a warning, not really a warning, but a notification that the badge at the bottom that we saw a moment ago in the preview requires an upgraded account to be removed. Once we're all done in here, we can click on Start Sending. Here's a warning that says you're about to start an automation that will send to WP Learning Lab, which is the audience. This would be whatever audience you chose in this first step here where it says sends to. That would be the audience name right there. Click on Start Now whenever you're ready, because that's what we want. So it's not going to send to everybody who's already in there in that audience. It's going to send to new people because that's the way it's set up. And if we click on, and we're back in campaigns, we see all our campaigns, including the welcome email. That's all set up and ready to go. If I go to edit, we see the sends to new subscribers. So it doesn't send to everybody who's already in your audience, just the new subscribers. And that's how we create an automation that sends a welcome email when someone signs up. And if you want to create a form, I have other tutorials for that in the card above and the description down below. So check that out. There's a whole MailChimp playlist on this channel that'll be super helpful if you use MailChimp.
All right, so that's it for this session. Hopefully this is, finally made everything click, right? If you think of everything that we've done so far, hopefully this has finally made you realize that, it's really important to have this marketing hub so that your Facebook ads and your Instagram ads and your TikTok ads and your Google-based ads all drive people to this one area. So this is why it's really, really important to have your website as your marketing hub, is that so you can collect that contact information, you can retarget people that are visiting your website, and that you can ultimately set them up in your CRM systems. So in the next session, we'll talk about a little bit more email marketing and really how to put this all together. But this is, a great starting point for being able to create that full front to end marketing campaign, right? Where you start with understanding your goals and objectives like we talked about in session 1, and then you come up with your marketing creative and what makes a good ad, then running Facebook and Google ads all the way to getting to here, right? And that is how ultimately, hopefully, we will acquire more leads, which will then lead into more business for us. So, like I always say, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to let me know. Again, a lot of this stuff that we talked about today will vary depending on your website provider. So if you aren't sure where even to start or where to look, then definitely let me know and I'll try my best to point you in the right direction. All right, well, thanks for your time. And we got one more session to go, and that's it. So thanks again for your time today. And like I always say, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to let me go.